Welcome everyone to another Paranormal Q&A with Jack, Kenna, and
Carly Hall.
About time you showed up. Anyway, well,
I'm not sleeping this time.
You were sleeping behind me last week. Crashed out. Hello, Michelle Millens. I see Michelle's here. So yeah, you were crashed out. Now you're in the office, and I can see all my posters in the background, and all of kinds of other things in the background. That's okay. So, and Barry says hi, Carly.
Hello.
Bob Maloney says hi, Jack and Carly. And Barry says hi, Jack. And Barry, yes, Carly's here. I'm here. Karen and Daniels is here. All our friends are here. They're jumping in. They're all jumping in. Loki Trout is here. Okay.
Yay, Loki. You know Loki.
I know Loki.
Yes.
Okay.
It's Sharon.
Oh my God. All right. This names confuse me. That's what it is. The other names until I realize who it is.
Bamboozling him.
Yeah. Hey, here's our friend Lexi's here.
Let's go. Hello.
I haven't seen her jump in a long time. Bob Burnell is here. How you doing out there, Bob? Yes, now I know Sharon. Yes. It's all the screen names that throw me off. I'm always like, who's that? I don't know. Even though, the picture's there, but it's really small pictures.
It's kind of ironic with her Loki.
Lexi, it's good to have you in here. We haven't seen you. Well, we haven't really talked to you in a while. I mean, I was talking to you when we were down at Gettysburg, but it's the last time I was talking to you. So I hope everything's good out there. Sharon, I hope everything's good with you. John McGinnis is here. Hello, John. And Lexi says we still need to come out there. It's been too long. This is true. It has been a very long time. Lexi is a friend of ours. Lives out in Western New York, and we met her a long time ago. Well, a couple of years ago. And
it's been a couple of years already.
Yeah, if not more. 2018, I think. It was the first time we met her. I think it was 2018. It's been a while. Last time we were out there, I think, was before COVID. So she's right. It has been a while. I think we were out there before COVID hit. I see. Robin Kale. I see Robin's here. So we see all of our friends. Holly. Excuse me, people. Yes, you're right, Lexi. It has been way too long. But if you guys, as always, we are here to answer your questions about anything paranormal. I just want to throw that out there. And Sharon says she stopped counting years. Yes, well, it's probably decades. I don't know. Do we count by weeks then? Maybe we should count by days. Maybe we should go by days. It'd be longer, but it'd be fun. It'd be interesting. How many days has it been since we last saw some of our friends? Let's count. I take the whole show, I think, for some of them. Debbie Smith, Timothy, Tim Morris is here. How you doing out there, Tim?
Hey.
Long time no see with Tim either. It's been a long time since I saw Tim. We've been doing good, Tim. Hope you're doing well out there. I keep track of you. I see you still doing stuff and going places and all that good stuff, and that's all good. At least we did get to see a bunch of you on the USS Salem, and you got to meet a bunch of each other on the USS Salem a few weeks back, which was good. I think that was pretty cool. And we have the Summer Mansion event coming up here next weekend, right? Not this weekend, next weekend.
Next weekend, yeah.
Yes.
This weekend is my pre-qualifiers.
You gonna pre-qualify for something?
Yeah.
Alone or what? Alone?
Yes, the competition.
Summer Mansion is, it's actually the 17th through the 19th. 17th, I think they're actually just, they're doing an investigation that night at the mansion. The event is the 18th and 19th. Carol and I will be there. Well, we'll be down that way Saturday, but we're not going to the investigation portion, I don't think. But we will be there. If you want to come down to Summer Mansion, is in Pennsylvania. It's in, what's the town, Carly? It's like around King of Prussia,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. That's not the actual town Selma Mansion's in, but if you look up Selma Mansion, Pennsylvania, it'll bring it up. We are staying at a Holiday Inn down there in King of Prussia is where we're going to be at, and we're not far from the
In
actual
Norristown.
Yes, Norris. That's it, Norristown. So we're not going to be far from there. So if you want to come down to that, come on down to that. It was a pretty good event. We enjoyed it last year. It's a good fundraiser for the event. And yes, Sharon, we will see you down at Selma. That's right. I know you're going. I know there's a couple other people going too. And Bob says, so how was it? How was what? The Selma Mansion last year? It was really good. I enjoyed it. There's some serious stuff going on the third floor. While we didn't investigate it, we did take a walk around and stuff, and I noticed most of the energy and stuff up on the third floor, which I think most people would agree with that. But it's a big place. There's a lot going on. But they've done a lot of renovations since we were there, Carly. I understand there's air conditioning in there now. Unlike last year when we were there and it was hotter than heck and there was no AC. We had a fan.
I was fine.
Yeah, we survived it. It was good. It wasn't as hot. It was not as hot as the USS Salem, though. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
So, anybody who was on there with us knows what we're talking about. Hey, Chris Sanders. I see Chris is here. And Chris's event is coming up too. October. Chris, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's October 8th through the 10th. Let me know if we're wrong to that. Chris, feel free to post up your poster here about your event if you'd like. And we'll go from there. And I hate to tell Chris, but I can't guarantee I can make his event this year because my daughter-in-law is due October 1st. And I may be, if it's October 9th. Okay, it's October 9th. So again, Chris, feel free to put up the poster. I can't guarantee we are going to make your event because, again, my daughter-in-law is due October 1st. Her due date's October 1st. If she goes before that, we can be there. If she goes after that weekend, I'll probably be down in Virginia rather than out in Maine. So, sorry, Chris. One of those things. Can't promise. But hopefully it works out.
I'm sure she wants to come early, but
yeah, I'm sure she does. Yeah, I know. I know Cameron does. She wants the baby early, but we don't. None of us control that, so we can't be sure of anything. Here's a question from Bob Burnell. It says, Jack, do you use a headphone amp in your home setup for listening to EVPs? I don't use a headphone amp. I use headphones, but not a headphone amplifier. No. I don't like amplifying things because I like to I either hear it or I don't. This is what I've gotten to over the years. Either it's there or it's not. If I really can't make it out, I kind of just bypass it. I set it aside and I bypass it. I may, for my own edification, go back and use the software, boost the volume or something like that. But I just like listening with a regular set of headphones and just seeing what comes out. If I can really hear the EVP, then I will present that as evidence. If I can't, I won't. It's as simple as that for me these days. I've gotten away from trying to amplify things and do that. Either I can tell what it says, or I think I can tell what it says, and I'll share that with other people, see what they think before we present it as evidence. But no, I do sometimes, if I'm not sure about the voice, run it through the program that I have that identifies formants of your voice. So I know what my own formant is. I can know what the fifth formant of certain people are, and I can tell whether it's them or not, or whether it's somebody else, because everybody's fifth formant falls into a certain range. Fourth and fifth formant sort of fall into certain ranges. So if it falls outside of those known people, and you don't know who it was. So we'll do that sometimes. Things like that. But no, I don't use the amplifiers. Let me see. Steve White's here. Steve White, he has a question. Of course he has a question. Steve always has a question. I like Steve's questions. Let's see what Steve is asking us here. Good evening. Question. Oh, okay. As always, while doing a residential case, has anybody ever mentioned why they were having dreams of deceased family members and friends referring to you? Visitation dreams. I know this is off the wall, but just curious. Well, they usually. Carly, you go ahead and answer that one. Instead of me answer it.
What was the?
So when we do a residential investigation, do people explain to us, ever mention why they were having dreams of a deceased family member? Let's say, we go to investigation. This person says, "Well, I've been having these dreams of a deceased family member lately." Do they mention that to us? Do they explain why? Like talking about visitations and dreams. I mean, we do get that from people.
Yeah, we do get that.
But I guess he means, do they get into details about what it was, or?
I think it's actually the opposite. Like they're more asking us what it means. I don't think we've ever had
that may be what he's getting.
Yeah, so
I'm reading it.
I think that's what I was confused about. So, we've never had people like explain, like they've explained what their visitation dream was, but when you're like interpreting dreams, it's a little weird because it's always not exactly like how it presents itself. You do actually have to like interpret your dreams, and every small detail counts. So, and it's never what it seems. So, it's more of them asking, like, what does this mean? Or what does that mean? Or why would I dream about that? And you have to kind of analyze what they're going through in their daily life, what they've gone through throughout their life, and the history with the person they're maybe the message behind it and what they were feeling during the time of it. So,
yeah.
I don't think we've ever had somebody like explain it for us. But.
No, there's somebody, you can get in conversation where they'll tell you why they thought they had it. I mean, that will happen. Sometimes if they're really interested, I might refer them to a dream interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle
Durocher is really good at dream interpretation.
Because I don't interpret dreams typically,
No.
But we do know one or two people who do. And we can always, if people really want more information or insight on those, we can refer them to that person or those people.
I can help them on a psychological basis because I have to do it with my therapist. I have to analyze my dreams, like write them down and answer the questions and all that. So
yeah.
You can self-analyze your dreams to a point, but yeah, eventually you will probably need a dream.
Yeah, sometimes it is a visitation. It's not really a dream either. It's the other thing that comes into play. But that, I think you can usually tell by how vivid it is. If it seems real, it's very likely it's actually a visitation rather than just a dream.
Yeah.
At least that's my opinion on that. My theory. And Bob goes back to saying he's buying a headphone amplifier tomorrow. That's why he asks. Bob, I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, it's up to you. If you want to spend the money and do it, go ahead. I just don't like trying to amplify audio too much. It gets, I mean, you can start hearing things that aren't really there, I think. I mean, you can start believing you hear something that isn't there. To me, it's either the EVP is either there or it's not. It's as simple as that. Headphones are enough and increasing volume is enough to be able to say, oh, I hear it or I don't hear it. I just don't like amplifying things too much because amplification can also distort sound. So that's something to be careful of. It's up to you if you want to buy it. I mean, more power to you. I just wouldn't put the money into it myself personally, but that's my opinion. I'm not trying to discourage you, but you don't want to waste money at the same time either. But that's my opinion. Okay, so and Chris goes, yeah, you told me you were 50-50. Okay, all right, good. That's why you didn't put me on the flyer. Okay, good. Actually, somebody was asking me about today. They said, I thought you were going to Chris's thing. I don't see on the flyer, though. I said, well, I thought I had mentioned it to him that I might not make it. But I couldn't remember. Glad you just confirmed that for me, Chris. Because I sometimes I don't remember what I tell people and what I don't. Let me see. Tim's got a question for us. I'm going down questions, people. I'm just going down looking through questions here. Do you ever use letter dice? Oh, I used it for the first time and it works for me. I know what he's getting at. Letter dice. I assume you're using it in order to get answers potentially from spirit. It's an interesting random way to toss them out there and see if you get words that come through the letter dice. I mean, I know what that is. I assume he uses like a cup or something to shake them in and then put them out with after asking a question, right? That's an interesting thing. I never thought about that. Could spirit have influence over the dice? That's a good question. It's good thinking outside the box there, Tim. And if it seems to be working for you, I would validate it, though, by trying to use other equipment and see if you get similar or the same type of responses. Never rely on just one thing. Like run an audio recorder through it at the same time. See if you do get a voice that responds to you when you get an answer supposed to be on the dice. Use a K2 like for yes and no type answers. If you're doing yes and no with the dice, see if you get similar response. See if you get responses on the K2 as well. Look at other devices and with that in order to validate that they're actually giving you answers. But that's a great thinking outside the box thing, and that's probably an older method that was used before that I just hadn't really heard about. Good going, Tim. So letter dice, if you want to know more about that, talk to Tim because he seems to be using it. Some people probably already heard of it, but I be honest, that's the first I heard of that. So doesn't mean it can't work. And Barry says, looks like New Jersey Para-Unity will be the last hurrah for him this year. Well, yeah, we don't have too much more planned. We got Selma Mansion. If we make Chris's, we'll have that one. And then our own.
We're doing
I did sign up for Ocean State Paracon too, yeah.
And we have the Halloween one. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the name.
We have our own.
Yes.
Which City Parafest?
Yes. And we also have we went on to a costume party.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
The costume party where we got lost. We went to the cemetery instead of the actual building.
John
Kobe, yeah.
I didn't think he was doing that this year. Did I? I don't have it. Is he?
Yeah.
I don't have it in my calendar.
Oh, yes, it's at Gettysburg Battlefield.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay. All right. Oh, that's why I don't remember. Because I had so much going on there, I forgot. So hopefully John reminds me then.
I'll talk to him. I'll text him.
Yeah, tell him to remind me dates because it's possible we could have a conflict and we can't do it. So I'm just going to say that. And I didn't realize it. So, because I wasn't trying to do, because I wasn't trying to do too much in October. But anyway. I don't
know. I remember we talked to him.
Because the next two I had after Christmas.
Unless it was next year.
What's next? I think it's next year, not this year.
Is it next year?
I don't think it's this year. It's got to be next year. He would ask us a year in advance, not just a few months before. So, and I know I didn't plan too much through the month of October because even ours, Which City and then Ocean State are both in November. The only thing I had down for October, which is still questionable, is Chris's event on October 9th there. So we got to see. But I think Chris is not you're talking about. I think it was for next year.
Okay. Yeah.
And here's a good for Tim. Yes, here's a good thing from Robin. Videotape it when you do the dice, and I'm sure he probably does. Knowing Tim, or maybe not because he said okay, thank you. But yeah, that would be a good idea to videotape that with you asking your question and see what the response is. If you do that, we'll share it on here too. This will be our last show for, as far as I know, for a little bit through October because if they got people to sign up starting week after next, I think. Next week. We might be giving classes our Paranormal 101 courses on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 different locations. Tuesdays would be, I think, Hudson Valley Community College, and then Thursdays will be SUNY Schenectady. So if I am giving those courses at Hudson Valley, we will not be doing our show Tuesday nights because we'll be giving the classes Tuesday nights from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. So for now, this is the last show until like November. So just be aware, people. And
Happy Halloween, guys.
We'll always be on to say Happy Halloween to you, but we just won't have a show.
Yeah.
But we'll put out our Happy Halloween. And I see they got a nice little conversation going on in there in the chat room, which is good. I always love when they jump away from us and start chatting about stuff. They're talking about Tim and what he's doing. Okay, Steve White's got a question. We're running into, let's just say, a nasty spirit. Do you have any techniques that work to calm them down? Usually I don't try to work them up to begin with, but
yeah. I mean, so one example that we had, which was actually really good, was at the Pam and Steve's old place.
We didn't run into anything negative there, did we?
Yeah, at the schoolhouse. Remember the grumpy old man that didn't want us to talk?
Guy. Yeah.
So,
yeah, go ahead, because now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we went to investigate the schoolhouse, and I think honestly we made a little bit of a mistake doing that because I don't think we assumed that since we were the first people investigating there, we probably should have been like, "Hey, we're coming in," but we didn't do that. We kind of just walked in because we were like, "Oh, this is so cool," distracted. But
we didn't know if there was anything there.
Right, but anyway, just to do it as a precaution.
Yeah, you're right.
But anyway,
you are right though.
He felt that we trudged on in his area, and we brought technology that he didn't recognize. He had no idea who we were. We were in his space, and he got upset. He didn't push us or anything, but he was banging the walls very to the point where we felt loud. The walls shaking. It was intense. But we were upstairs in the second floor trying to communicate with a female spirit that was there with some kids. She had mentioned that she was a teacher there, but the guy was interrupting and was blocking her off, preventing her from talking.
Yeah.
So we made a deal with him. Let's say, hey, if you give us 15 minutes, we will get out of your hair. We promise, And then he calmed down for 15 minutes, and then after that, he's like, okay, time's up. You got to get out of here. So we did, and that worked. You got to make a compromise. With of course, if there's nasty things out there that don't want to make a compromise, then you got to kind of just use your boundaries and protect yourself and kind of just with it from here.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with something like the demonic case we had, you don't. Well, it's not that you don't do things that are going to tick it off, because you're going to tick it off no matter what. It doesn't want you there. It knows why you're there. You're going to do a house blessing. I just tell it, well, I'm going to go upstairs and do some prayer up there and do some whatever. They don't like it, but I guess the reason I don't hide it from them is because they're going to figure it out anyway, and they might get more angry, Whereas if I tell it, it's going to be pissed off anyway. But I mean, it may do more to try to stop me to begin with, and it'll focus its anger more on me than on the family. Right. So I mean, you take that risk anytime you're dealing with stuff like that it's going to focus its anger on you, rather than over the family itself. It's already terrifying the family and ruining their lives anyway. So it's not something you can make deals with. It's not something you can placate. It'll do terrible things to people, just be terrible to them. But in regards to a negative, just miserable spirit, yeah, I mean, there's things you got to
deal with them like a negative human anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so when you're dealing with a negative human spirit, there's more you can do to try to placate that. I mean, them you can try to talk to and try to reason with a bit. try to get an understanding maybe where they're coming from, why they're so angry, what's really bothering them, and let them know that you're here to listen to them. They may not be forthcoming right away, but they might eventually at least give you an idea why they're ticked off, and what they're ticked off about.
Maybe like giving them a chance to talk will actually make them feel better and make them more
because you're always
positive.
something always remember when you're doing residential cases, stuff like that, you're not really there just for that family. Yes, they're the ones that called you, but you got to try to figure out why the spirit's acting the way it is, or are these people misinterpreting what this spirit's trying to do, or is it being negative and trying to hurt them? And if that's the case, you got to try to sort out what to do to get it to stop. So there's a lot to that question. So I think it's
very situational.
Yeah, but it's a good question. It is a good question. I'm just going to put this up from Bobby. He's talking about that amplifier again. Right now, I'm just listening through headphones. I think the DAC and a headphone amp is the way to go. Cleans up noise distortion. These units allow you to turn up the volume without losing anything. Yeah, okay. Whatever you want to try, Bob. I mean, it's just not something I would do. I mean, I can clean up stuff enough for me through the audio programs themselves. But everybody has their choice. Everybody has their options. And some people like to try the newest, latest equipment and stuff like that. And that's great. Go ahead, do it. A lot of the stuff we're using like that is really designed for musicians who are cleaning up their music and clean up background noise and things like that. So yes, it can be helpful for that. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry. Wow. It can be helpful for that too, clean up background noise and stuff like that. So, Tim has a question. Does some spirits drain you down more than other spirits, or does it just depend? Well, go ahead, Carly, you answer that.
Yes.
So are some spirits more physically, or maybe even emotionally draining than others?
So
Yes,
so
thank you, people. Bless you. I see all the bless yous. I had to play that EVP, the bless you EVP. Bless you. I'll be right back. I'm gonna jump out for a minute. I'll be right back because I'm gonna go blow my nose. If I can.
Wow. Okay. Hi, Big Carly. So yes. So with my experience, typically children have been the most draining for me. Like if you're doing a reading as a medium, children are very draining when talking to them because one, they don't understand necessarily like how much they're draining out of you when you're connecting to them through that connection, and two, they're very high energy. So it's, how you're watching a kid run around and is super hyper and you're like, God, I wish I had that energy. It's pretty much like the same thing. Like they have tons of high energy. It can be very draining. Others, you could have negative attachments that drain you dry just because they just want your energy. They feed off of it. They don't care. There are, positive human spirits who can drain people, like just to use your energy on investigations and stuff, but they won't like drain you dry. So it really depends on the situation. But from my experience, children 100% have been the most draining.
I think demons are personally.
I mean.
Actually, they weren't.
That's.
The demon itself wasn't.
Like,
it was the whole process that was. The process was draining. Not the demon itself. It was draining to the individual they possess, but the process.
Oh, that's heck draining. If you're possessed, holy crap, that's so draining.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother matter. But I mean,
that's a whole nother thing.
The process of doing the exorcism was draining. I'll tell you that.
But human spirit, I would say.
Yeah, regarding technology, Barry says he's I think he's talking about the headphones and so yeah. I'm still old-fashioned and haven't had the time to catch up with the technology. Yeah, me too. I don't know. That's not true. And Bob Burnell says, my next thing will be a great set of cans. I got two I'm sitting on. Great set of cans. My can.
I've never even heard that referred to.
There's your can?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You have two.
I have, yeah. Like, wait, two cans?
I got a great can I'm sitting on right now. So. I'll look for stuff because I might have missed a couple questions. Oh, wait, I got a question for everybody. Now, it's really unparanormal related, but it is horror related. I'll give you a hint. This thing is horror related, and the first person who can tell me it's from a model. Okay, so a model. I think it was AMT put it out in 1979 as regards to a horror movie. I don't want to give more than that, but it's going to be a very vague item to many people. You're going to go, what the heck? But if you can guess what this is, you win my admiration and maybe something else. But if you can guess what this piece from this model goes to, again, horror movie, 1979. Model company, I believe, was AMT. See if you can tell me what this belongs to. If nobody guesses it, I'll give more hints, but here it is. I don't know if you can see that really well or not. Back it off a little bit. I don't know. Belongs to something from a movie. Oh, there. Maybe you get a better view that way. Oh.
I think I know.
1979 horror film. And let's see. We have Amityville. No. We have Island of the Fishmen. No. Your light out was washing it out, but we actually do have a winner, and William Earl guessed correct. Alien. Now, William, what part of the alien is this? That you guessed it. Exorcist, nope. War of the Worlds, nope. You guys are wrong. Alien was the movie that was from. So William Earl put it out there. It said Alien.
And what's the name of the alien?
Alien is the name of the alien. It's the alien. But it's part of the alien. It's part of the actual alien creature.
Yeah, but what did they classify the aliens?
Oh, well, yeah, I wasn't going to get into that because a lot of people don't know. It's a xenomorph, but
yeah.
See, Carly knows. But you did get it right. Aliens would have been partially acceptable because they didn't use that on it in the movie. And it was the alien head. That's correct. Alien head, Barry Martin. Yeah, alien head. And yes, I actually found it. The reason I brought this up is I found the whole model kit out in my garage. Here's the rest of most of the parts of it. So, but this was the hood on the alien's head. Yes. Good guess. You win my admiration and maybe something else. If you never know, if you throw your address out to me there, I might mail you something. You just never know. And the first person to guess was, where is he? I know it was
William Earl.
William Earl. So William Earl, if you toss your address out in a private message to me on Facebook, just private message me. Send me your email, your address, your actually mailing address. I might just ship you something. So I won't tell you what. But it would be alien related. No, it will not be the model, but it could be alien related. Okay. So that was my thing for the night. I just happened to find that we were cleaning out the garage from a bunch of stuff before we had my roof repaired. And I came across that whole alien model laying on the floor. So, and I actually have all the parts. I was shocked at that too. So very good. Yeah. Believe it or not, Karen, 1979. Karen said she didn't think it was that old. Yes, that movie came out in 1979. I know, still holds up to this day. Amazing. You know, and considering the special effects were all handmade stuff, amazing how it all held up to this day. I think that's how well a movie it was. That's how good a movie it was made. Says I can't watch Alien. Michelle, we can't watch Aliens today. That's funny. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, anybody got more questions? I did my thing for the night. Carly didn't even know I was going to do that. And Timmy, we'll talk to you later. You have a good night, my friend. He's got to run. So.
All right, bye, Tim.
So, question from Barry. Barry, our good friend Barry, has a question. Jack, have you time to start building your USS Salem model yet? He remembered. I actually bought one. I did.
Did you really?
Yeah. I think I talked about it on last week's show. No, I have not had the chance to, Barry. Maybe I should send it to you, Barry, and let you build it for me. Barry used to build ship models all the time. We were talking about that when we were on the USS Salem. I used to when I was a kid. So I actually went online. I found the USS Salem model and I ordered it. I don't know if I got it.
Is it in here?
Yeah, I think it's
Might be
sitting
in here.
in the other room. So I think it's in the other room there. Because I don't think I have it here. No, I'm actually still working on my giant USS Enterprise D model. That damn thing is big, man. I got more parts of the kit coming too. So, but no, I haven't had a chance to put that together yet. I will get to it. Like I said, maybe I'll send it out to you, Barry, and let you put it together for me.
Oh,
Aliens was an awesome movie. I still like the first Alien movie better.
the newer ones are.
Oh, Bob. Oh, hey, Bob Burnell. Thanks for bringing that up. I didn't know that. Play World of Warships. The Salem is one of the ships you can get. I didn't know that since the Salem was not a warship, though. It wasn't.
Well, it was not.
It wasn't
active.
in any of the wars. Yeah, which is interesting. So I'm surprised it's one of the warships you can get. Interesting. Now here's a good question. Back to the paranormal stuff. Woohoo! I like paranormal stuff. When did you guys first know about your abilities? I'll let you start, Carly.
Well, I've had my abilities my entire life. I just thought I was crazy. My parents actually almost admitted me into a psych ward. Because I was adopted, so they didn't have any of the abilities that I had. It runs down in my family. And then when I met Jack and a couple mutual friends, they helped me realize that those were actually psychic abilities that I had. So, yeah. I'd say a couple years, 3 years, 4 years now.
That you knew for sure.
Oh, that I knew absolutely for sure.
That you had abilities.
Oh God, years.
So when did you actually first know about your abilities?
13, 14.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. And then you learned more about them and how to kind of start to control them later. Yeah. I knew I had some kind of abilities when I was a kid. My mother kind of was into the paranormal stuff a little bit. She knew she had abilities, and she knew that us kids had them too. I had a lot of, I guess not. I guess premonitions, not deja vu, but premonitions. Even just some mundane thing, like something that would happen in class. I'd have this very vivid dream of something happening in class. Me and my friends just joking around, fooling around. I'd wake up, I'd forget about it. About a week or 2 weeks, maybe sometimes 3 weeks later, it would actually happen. And it suddenly dawned on me that I'm like reliving this. This is exactly what happened in that dream I had. I never told anybody that, but I'd be talking to myself going, wow, that's really weird. This is exactly what I dreamt about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So very strange stuff. Yeah. So I knew I had abilities, and I kind of pushed them aside when I was 17 and had that experience that I talked about on my paranormal nightmare. And just kind of pushed all that stuff aside. I still had premonitions. I still had some strange things, but I would just that's interesting, and kind of just brush it aside. Wouldn't really think about it or talk about it. But I knew from a long time. I don't know. I very long time. And from when I think the first thing I could remember is probably maybe I was 8 years old. I don't know, 7 or 8. I could remember stuff. So at least from that long ago. But I never got into it until much later in life. I know I've told people this before. After Ghost Hunters came out, and I got kind of back into getting involved with the paranormal stuff. After being away from it for so long, from 17 up to age like 40, I started to get back into it, and that's when I met a friend of mine, Becca Boyd, who really brought me along in my psychic abilities and learning how to understand that, how to connect with it, how to meditate, things like that. So that was many, many years later. And some people were talking about USS Salem. Just so you're clear, you can go onto the USS Salem website, but it never saw active battle. It did a lot of stuff.
It was more of a medical hospital than it was.
Correct. It helped out with natural disasters and things like that, but it never was involved in actual combat. No. And I think it was commissioned I want to say 1956. I think. It was during the Vietnam War, or just before the Vietnam War, but it never saw actual battle. But in any case, that's a whole nother thing. But there is spirits on there, and it is a very active location. I would go there again. I would never do it again in the summer, but I would go there in the fall. Winter, November, December, I would still go there. I was going to skip January, February time frame. I think it's too cold. I think it's even closed during that time. Okay, so Steve's got another question. This will relate to visitation dreams. Is it possible when someone's talking in their sleep that they're actually talking to someone in a visitation dream? I suppose it's possible. I can't be in somebody's dream, so I can't give you the real answer for that, right? I mean, I could tell you from my own dream if I was talking in my sleep and had my own dream, or visitation, I could tell you that, but I can't speak to that to somebody else's. It's a possibility, but I wouldn't. I mean, a lot of people talk in their sleep, so I wouldn't just assume somebody talking in their sleep is talking to a spirit. But I don't know. Carly, what's your thought on that?
Grasshopper.
What?
The grasshopper that came in your visitation dream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I was trying to shake a giant grasshopper off my arm, and I was shaking it like this in my dream, and in real life it's like, ask Carly about that. It's funny. How your body actually reacts and while you're sleeping to what you think you're doing in your dream. Yeah. There's a whole other thing to have a discussion about. Well, in my dream, I'm doing this. Get up.
Like, what the fuck are you doing over there? It was just a visitation dream from a grasshopper. Anyway.
What's your input on that? Is somebody who potentially is talking in their dreams actually talking to somebody they're being visited by? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
I mean, I'm sure people could do a study for it, like how you could say, like, do brain scans, when someone's actually... That's hard to do, though, because if they're actually talking to spirit and their psychic abilities are activated, I guess you could see their brain activity in a scan when that's happening versus when they're dreaming and talking in their sleep, if that is a correlation. Yeah. But it's hard to do because how can you prove that someone's actually talking to a spirit? Scientific, or medical. So...
Michelle Payne, I can't pronounce the last name. Michelle says her husband talks in his sleep all the time. He's always talking to somebody, Michelle. I don't know. Did you record them? You should record them and see what he says. Play it back for him. See if he remembers his dream. So who was this girl you were talking to in your dream? Who's this Linda? Who is that? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
Who's this Linda girl you're talking to in your dream? I don't know. You get in big trouble doing that. Don't talk in your dreams.
Also, it could be a side effect of medication.
Yes, it can.
We found that out.
Yes, that's true too.
Yep.
So if you're on some kind of meds, could be making you talk in your sleep. May not be related to anything.
Could be giving you weird dreams that are Just bizarre.
There's a question from Bob Burnell for both of us, Carly. Do you think when we photograph ghosts, are we photographing just the spirit, or are we photographing the place the spirit just happens to be in? Huh? Well, if you consider quantum physics, a spirit can be more than one place at one time.
Or we could be talking about the spirits in a time zone, but in the same, like
Yeah,
with the ghost hunters.
Is it the spirit, or is it you're somehow photographing through a
time
spirit
distortion
portal, sometime time distortion into another time?
remember they had that EVP
I can't say I've
session.
actually ever caught I've caught shadow figures on video.
Remember
Now,
Ghost Hunters had the EVP session with that one girl
yes.
in the princess room?
She was talking to them as if she was alive, and they were talking to her because they were alive. To her,
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
She could hear them, but she couldn't see them. So that was almost like a time slip of some kind. Like she could hear them through that in her past when she was there. Be interesting to know if somewhere in her past she ever mentioned that to somebody, like, was there two guys like working around my room or something? You'd never know. But what if there were? What if she did? What if she had a conversation like that with somebody?
Can you imagine if there was like
when
a
she was
somewhere?
there in the 1930s and 40s and saying, "Did you have two guys working around my room or something?" They're talking to me, saying, asking me questions. But I couldn't see them. I couldn't see where they were. Were they working around my thing or something? Yeah. Well, they're there going, "Where is she? We can hear her, but we can't see her." That was a really crazy, interesting conversation, EVP session that they had, because you could hear her clearly on the EVP on the audio when they replayed it, asking where they were and who they were. She could clearly hear them. So what was that? So I mean, this could fall to that. I mean, I don't know, Bob. I mean, I think you're catching an image or whatever of a spirit in that place at that time. No different than if you're photographing a person in that place at that time. That energy is just there, and you happen to capture it. I don't think there's two separate things going on. You're capturing it. You have to be capturing. Common sense would tell you you're capturing an image of something that is in that location at that moment. Whether it's really someplace else or not, I don't know. But at that moment, that energy is there in that room. Whether it's being projected from some different location or not may be irrelevant. But
well, that's what a camera does, though. Like that's
the camera can only capture what's in front of it at the moment, right? Or what it sees at that moment. Same for video. If you're talking shadow figures, things like that. So it at least is there in that moment that it's captured. Whether that means a portal opened up and the camera can see into that other realm for that moment, or not, but it's there. That moment is there in that space, okay, at that time. So you're still capturing the energy of that spirit at that moment in time. So I guess that's my answer. I guess that makes sense. Even on a scientific level, that may make sense. Because the camera can't see past where it is.
Right.
You can capture something that's appearing where it is. But it can't, like, if you're taking a picture in this house, you're not taking a picture in another house across the way. The camera is not capable of doing that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my answer to that question. That makes sense? I hope that made sense. Karen says she talks to Jake from State Farm in her sleep. Wow. I don't know. You must like Jake from State Farm. Or are you trying to get a better deal? I don't know, on your insurance. Maybe Karen's getting a better deal on her insurance. Okay, here's a question from Steve White. While doing residential investigations, have you guys ever come across open portal? As far as you know, yes, I have. I have come across open portals in residential cases, and I've had to close them. You can tell they're open by, I use like a pendulum device type thing to find them, which means there's energy in that area. So the pendulum will swing to that, and the faster it swings, the more energy is there. So it's giving you an indication there's energy open at that moment. It works also over a Ouija board. Typically, if you hold a pendulum of some type over a Ouija board, now I just use actually a small metal, hung from a sewing thread, and if a session or a portal, you could say, is open on a Ouija board, it'll begin to make a circle around it. It's just showing you there's energy there. It's just circulating, which would make kind of sense. It's like a vortex. So it's circulating, and you can close that through different techniques, and then you'll see it won't do that. It'll just hang straight down. It won't. There's no energy coming through anymore.
Sometimes you can also feel it too.
Yeah, you can use. Sometimes certain people can feel the energy from it. You might get dizzy.
It's heavy. Yeah.
It might be heavy. Yeah, you might feel off kilter. So there's different things that can happen. They could tell you there's a portal open in that location. So Steve, I don't know if that kind of answered your question. Somebody asked, are telephoto lenses useful in paranormal investigations? I suppose they can be if you're trying to shoot. If you're setting up a camera and you're trying to look further down like an aisle, or like a hallway or something like that, it can be useful. I prefer either a standard lens, or sometimes if the room is kind of small, kind of like a fisheye lens, so I can see more of the room. Especially when you got a small room and you're trying to cover the whole room. If you use a fisheye lens, it'll cover that room. You get some distortion, obviously, but if something's going to move or something's going to walk through there, you're going to catch it. So I don't use telephoto lenses too much on investigations. More just standard, or like I said, I do a wide angle or a fisheye lens, something like that. Wide angle lens or fisheye lens to capture more of a room. And IR lighting is the most important thing anyway. Or if you're using a full spectrum, you want to have the UV lighting, right? For the UV spectrum. Depends what spectrum you're trying to capture. So, but I don't tend to use the, telephoto lenses, but I can see where they can have a use. Steve White says, thanks, it's good to know and great advice. The pendulum would act like a portal detector. That's awesome. Yes, it does. And you have to find out what works for you. Crystal pendulums do not work for me at all. Metal, small, like I use a St. Benedict's metal, a small blessed metal. That works for me. Other people, sometimes a stone works for, or a crystal pendulum works for. And Carly, what's like for you? What? Yeah, is that works? Okay.
But metal. I can do metals, but crystal pendulums work best.
Yeah. So experiment with that if you're gonna, Steve, and see which one works best for you. Try different things first. Try different types, and see what works best for you. Some people just use a needle and thread because the metal is attracted to the energy. I like using the St. Benedict's metal. So. What the heck are they talking? Does he have his pants on? I'm reading this stuff. Is like, Jake from State Farm. Does he have his pants on? Yes, khakis, and a red sweater. Yeah. Hopefully, he keeps them on in your dream too, Karen. That's all I'll say about that. It's your dream. You can have whatever you want happen in your dream. It's. I'm just picking here. All right, what else you guys got for us tonight? What time is it? Oh, 8:57. My God, we're almost at our time. I just looked down and saw that's 8:57 p.m. Well, people, if you're looking for any good books, you know where to find mine. Here it is. You can find them online at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. I got it. Pretty much all my books are on there. I only got 3 out right now, anyway. Paranormal Research is there. That's my book that I teach the courses with. Hauntings, Ghosts, and Demons, which I know many of you have, which is some fun stories to read. It's based on some of our true investigations and some made-up stuff. And then my comic book, Spirits, Forgotten Souls of Bay Path, which is based on actual investigation. So you check all those out. And Carly, go ahead and tell us about your stuff. What do you got going on?
So this weekend will be my pre-qualifiers to the ALGS, which is the Apex Legends Global Series tournament coming up in a few weeks. So I'm going to be training for that. Right now the prize pool is $500,000, but it can actually go up to $1 million. It depends on how much people or how many people they have and how much they've raised. So wish us luck. Yay!
Good luck. I've done everything I can for you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, MJ has one last good question. Are there any books that describe different types of ghosts and spirits, like an encyclopedia? I believe there are, MJ. I would best place to try to find that stuff is on Amazon. Somebody put out a book like that. Maybe Barry even knows, because Barry looks up all this stuff. But I believe there is a book out there like that. It may not cover everything, but it covers a lot of stuff. I know, like in my lectures, I cover that stuff. I can send you some materials, basic brief materials I have, if you'd like, about the different types of spirits, what they do, what they are. That's just from briefings, materials out of lectures I give. I'd be glad to send that to you, MJ. Not a problem. So I'll send those over to you. But there are books. I believe there is a couple books out there on that specific subject.
You also have to keep in mind that when it comes to like differentiating between like spirits and entities and different things, it also has to do with people's like faiths. Because what we consider demons in a Christian culture or a Christian religion is not considered demonic for other religions and other faiths. So you also have to kind of go along with not only your own faith, but other people's as well. And you have to be very open-minded with that.
Not only that, and not even only that, but don't, just because you know some of these differences about spirits, don't make an assumption of what it is right away. Mm-hmm. Because it takes time to figure out what type of spirit you are dealing with. There's some key things. It takes time. It takes research. It takes a lot of knowledge to figure out what you're really dealing with. A lot of reading goes into it. Never just assume after an hour or even one night in a place that you know what you're dealing with there, because you probably don't. Right? Things can pretend to be things they're not. But there are certain tells to some things. Some things can seem demonic, and they're not. Okay? So there's a lot to it. You get faster at picking it up the more years that you do this, and especially the more type of cases you get involved with. But I made mistakes thinking it was one thing, and it turned out to be something else. So never make an assumption. Even though you've got this layout of different things, it's good knowledge to have. It's good research to have. But when you're actually on a case or doing an investigation, don't make that assumption right away that, oh, this is what this is. Please don't do that, because you're probably going to be wrong, right? Until you've put some time into the location. Okay. So that's it. That's all I got to say about that. Never assume, because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Assume? Yeah. Okay. That was a Benny Hill thing. I'll leave you guys with that. So we'll see you November. See you again in November. Remember, everybody. And because we'll be busy in the meantime. So no more shows now until November time frame. Okay. Everybody have a good night. Oh, she's talking about. I just caught my eye. MJ says, but hearing someone talk about an elemental really piqued my interest in learning more in that area. That's good. Learn about those. Often those can be confused for demons, and
Yes.
they are not demons. Okay, they are not,
Yes.
which is why you can't get rid of them with an exorcism.
And always never go by one person. Always go by multiple, and then off of your take what works for you.
Right. And I will, again, MJ, I will send you some information on some basic things, including elementals. It's just some basic information. So, take it for what it's worth. But it can help. It can help. But it's not the end all be all by any means. All right, guys, we love you all. We're going to miss you. Love you all. And we'll see you first week in November. We'll see you. We'll be back again. We'll be talking to you before then. Good night, everybody. And we'll get together with you again soon. Bob, Barry, and a couple of other good friends. I did not see Carl on tonight. But Carl, we'll get together with you guys pretty soon here for some coffee and stuff during the week or on a weekend. All right, guys. Have a great night. And we'll talk to you all again soon. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.